Hi, Rockers community. My name is Dr. Martin Stack, and I'm a professor of management and international business here at the Hellsberg School of Management. And I teach a number of classes, and one of the classes I've introduced is a class called The Business of Beer. I do a lot of research on the beer industry. I'm involved with a group called Beeronomics, and we thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about some of the beer options that you might want to think about for this holiday season. So beer today is everything from very local to very global, and I'm going to provide a few suggestions for us ranging from the local to the global. On the local front, in a city like Kansas City now, there are over 40 breweries. I'm going to talk a little bit about three of my favorite, but there are many, many great ones here. And I'm also going to talk about two global beers that I think have a particular relevance to us here at Rockhurst. So when I think of some of the really great local breweries here in Kansas City, I've got some suggestions here. One comes from KC Beer Co. This is a really good brewery up near 79th and Warnell here in Kansas City. They specialize in German-style beers. This is a beer that they do for their Oktoberfest. They do a number of different seasonal beers. They have a Christmas beer out right now, and they are right now the largest locally owned brewery in the Kansas City area, and they have done some really, really great beers, and I encourage you to try to support them and some of the other local breweries. Another brewery that is in the area is one that is called Bks Artisan Ales. This is actually at 63rd and Holmes. They've been around for about 4 years now, a very small brewery, but they've won some awards for their beers, and they do some range of very, very interesting beers. They do a lot of India Pale Ales, and but they do lagers and English mild ales, and just a very, very wide range of ales. Very fun place, very family friendly. And a final local brewery that I will have us pay attention to is a brewery called Alma Mater. This is actually right down the road from Boulevard Brewery. Some of you may be familiar with Boulevard Brewery down on Southwest Boulevard. Alma Mater just celebrated its second year anniversary, I think, and they are just a few blocks west of Boulevard Brewery. Alma Mater does some very, very interesting work, some very interesting beers. And in the class I teach on the business of beer, I have taken students to visit Alma Mater. I have taken students to visit BKS Brewery. And Steve Hawley, who owns and operates KC Beer Co., has come in to speak to my class on a number of different occasions. But beer is also global, and since we are a Catholic Jesuit school, I thought it might be interesting for us to talk a little bit about some beers that are done by Catholic monasteries in Belgium. And there are several of them that are very famous, but I'm going to go ahead and highlight two of them in particular. One is called Orval, and one is called Chimay. And so these are both beers that are brewed by Trappist monks in these monasteries. And Orval is one of my all-time favorite beers. Great beer. But it's the only beer they do. So they don't do seasonal beers. They don't do a real wide range of beers. This is it. But it is a great beer. It's very widely available. I can buy it here in Kansas City. Another Trappist brewery, monastic brewery, is called Chimay, and they do a slightly wider range. They do 3 or 4 beers, and they do them in big 750 milliliter bottles, but also in 12-ounce bottles as well. And their beers are very, very good, and they're also very widely available. These were 2 beers that I discovered back in the mid-1980s when I took my first trip as a college student over to Europe, and came back and thought, why aren't we doing beers like this in the United States? And a number of breweries in the US began to do that starting in the 1990s. If you're looking for a book recommendation in addition to some beers, I will suggest a book titled Trappist Beer Travels. This is actually written by 3 female beer writers, and they went and they visited all of the Trappist breweries throughout the world. They began in Belgium, which are the most famous, but then there are some in Austria, in Italy, and even in the United States. And so if you're looking for a gift for somebody, besides giving an actual beer, then this book of Trappist Beer Travels would be a great recommendation. Well, I wish you happy holidays, and remember that you can drink both local and global.